Everybody, I love any reason to talk to Kristen Miranda about literally anything, but today we're coming together over some pretty bittersweet moments, but hopefully some also amazing stories. Kristen, thanks for being here.
Yeah, no problem. I mean, I this is all anybody's thinking about and talking about today, and myself included. So,
Yeah, so we got the news today, on Tuesday, just about an hour ago, that our iconic and incredible Dolly Parton has passed away and has gone on to her next chapter of music, playing in heaven, which is the only thing I can imagine her doing because obviously she's getting there to thunderous applause. But I wanted to talk to you because you got to meet my idol, Dolly Parton, and I have to hear from you as the other incredible storyteller right here in this group. What was she like?
gosh, I tell people all the time, everything that you hoped she was that, and then 10 times more. I mean, she really was. We had the great honor, Brian Stevenson, who works with you still, and I had a great honor to interview her twice, both times at Dollywood. And I just went back just now and watched the 2023 conversation that we had, which was our most recent. And just it just brings back all of these memories of moments with her. She was truly kind, truly sweet. I mean, you interview some people and you can tell they've got a little bit of sass, a little bit of attitude. They're not happy to be there. Both times that I was interviewing her, she was being interviewed by multiple people. She had the same bright energy every single time. And she's beautiful. She's teeny tiny. She was just teeny tiny and absolutely beautiful and just so much fun to be around.
I love hearing that because I think especially if we don't have some sort of like direct personal connection to something, but everyone feels like they were connected to Dolly. And as somebody who, like you said, you've interviewed so many people. I mean, you've interviewed incredible artists, you've interviewed politicians, you've been on the scene of so many different things. But what about her do you think just kind of made that transition? It's somebody that everyone loves, it's someone that everyone looked up to, and she was kind of that great connector. But what do you think made her that person?
She was just really authentic. She was truly authentic. Where she grew up is where she stayed, and how she grew up is how she stayed. And I think that was real, at least from my perspective. And I think the perspective of everyone else in the world who she just resonated with so deeply. I remember the first time we went to interview her, I was so nervous. I was like, what am I going to wear? I mean, what do you wear to go interview Dolly Parton? I don't
Yeah,
know.
what did you wear?
I wore a blue dress with a red sort of sweater over it. But it's like those things you just want Dolly to like you, right? And I could have
Right.
worn sweatpants and a backwards hat, and she still would have liked me. She just truly was that authentic person. And my phone truly, after the news came out, text after text after text, because they just knew how much being able to talk to her meant to me. Friends just checking in and saying, "Gosh, I can't believe this." I think people are just really shocked because they heard from her so recently. They just didn't expect this news. I know I didn't, but she surely was a truly authentic, genuine, kind person. And she could still sing. I will tell you that. She sang for us in 2023 and she could still sing.
Brian played that clip when you all were at the opening of the Songteller
Yeah,
Resort,
the
the Heart
heart
Song
song.
Resort, the
Yep.
Heart Song Resort. Yeah.
Yeah, we didn't anticipate that she would perform. I mean, we just sort of thought she would come out and say hello to everyone. The hotel was beautiful, brand new. We thought she would come out, say hello, make a couple of comments and hit the road. She came out, then she played and she sang, and we were just having this amazing small Dolly Parton concert, and it was so much fun. And then we went into the area where we were going to interview her. And her crew is very, very good. They had her back all the time, perfect lighting, perfect everything. And we sat down and she said, "Oh, Kristen." And I thought, they prepped her, of course, but like, okay, yes, yes, Dolly, yes. And we had the best conversation. She was so open, so honest. The first time we talked, at the end of the interview, and I'll never forget this, and I tell my family all the time, like, Dolly Parton's my best friend. At the end of the interview, we were just kind of walking and chatting. And I said, "Thank you so much for having us." And she said, "Well, my goodness, we'd be best girlfriends if you lived close by." And I said, "I will come at any time." I mean, and so she gave me a hug. I mean, it was a dream. It was a real dream.
Oh my gosh, I've been really proud because I feel like Dolly would never let her emotions get in the way of a flawless performance. So I feel like I've been trying to channel her today and not cry after I found out the news because obviously we're about to cry. But
Yeah.
she also just had this incredible presence and fun and like you said authenticity before it was like part of everyone's like obligatory marketing campaign. Like of course we all want to be authentic, but now it's like we got to be authentic, we're going to be storytellers, but she just was that from the beginning. And like you said, like if she sat by you she probably would be like, let's be best girlfriends, are you hungry, have you eaten, da da da, like the true southern woman that she was.
Yes, absolutely. Her team loved her. Everyone around her loved being around her. I think, that's the difference is when you're trying to be authentic,
Hmm.
that's one thing. When you truly
Yeah.
are who you are to the public, that's true authenticity, and that's what she had. When we interviewed her in 2023, before I went to go to Pigeon Forge, two people handed me letters from their families or their children and just said, if you get a chance, please just give these to Dolly. Like it would mean so much to us. I don't typically do that. Like I don't try to blur those lines, but in the conversation, I was talking to her about her authenticity and why people love her so much. And I said, before I got here, two people gave me letters to give to you. That's how much you mean to them that they sought me out to make sure I could give those letters to you. And we carried on with the interview. And at the end of the interview, she said, "Okay, where are my letters?" And she
Of
asked
course
for
she
the
did.
letters, and I was able to hand her the letters. And I mean, she didn't have to, right? She didn't even have to remember that I said that 10 minutes before in the interview, but she did, and she wanted those letters.
I love that. That makes me just so happy. And the fact that you got to just sit with her. And I mean, of course she loved you. You're Kristen Miranda. Who wouldn't love you? I feel like you have that same fun energy, but also the fact that you've gotten to see everything that she's grown here
Mhm.
in the areas close by. I mean, one of my favorite things is when she was talking about Dollywood and she was like, yeah, there are plenty of people who said I couldn't do it. So I just did it and then fired those people. I was like, but she had that really tenacious business mentality and also this wonderfully big empathetic heart for animals, for children, for people who had experienced loss. But what if that like business tenaciousness really stuck with you?
It was funny, in 2023, I cannot remember the elected official that she brought up to talk about the Heart Song opening. And she just made a little bit of a dig about the roads in Tennessee while that person was up there and like I can't remember exactly what it was, so don't quote me, but it was something about fixing the roads leading up to the resort and to Dollywood. And it was just a little moment where she saw an opportunity. She's got this guy, he's in front of a big crowd of people. She's going to say the thing that she really needs, the business thing that she really needs. And that was just a tiny little glimpse into how she could be tiny but mighty, right? Because she knew how to get things done. And clearly, Dollywood and what she's done in Pigeon Forge, what she did after the fires, all of the things, what she's done with the Imagination Library, all of those things, yes, are business decisions, but they come from her heart and she knows how to get them done. And it's impressive to watch. We should all sort of take a page out of Dolly's book.
Yeah, I think that's incredible. Imagine being that politician. He was probably like filling in the potholes with his own like shovel after that. If Dolly told you to fix the roads, I'd be out there like learning how to do asphalt. And and
Exactly.
and those are the things that I just love hearing. So what were some of your favorite moments just when you were sitting there with her and just like you're seeing Dolly in real life and the rhinestones and the sparkles? Was she just like shiny? That's how I picture her.
Yeah, she's larger than life. Like, and she jokes about it, right? The hair is big, everything's big. She jokes about it. She owns it. The makeup is amazing. I mean, just everything about her is on point. The nails, everything, the outfits. Yes, yes, your Dolly nails. So yeah, I mean, she is just for someone so tiny, she was just larger than life. And you didn't feel nervous being around her. I didn't. I would say Brian probably would say the same thing. We went into it feeling nervous, but she made us feel so comfortable just by being her. And so I think that's a loss. That's a real loss to the world. When you have people like that who just make people feel warm and fuzzy just by being themselves.
Yeah. What do you think it was about her that allowed her to sit so comfortably and well with so many people? Because, like you said, she didn't really get into politics. She didn't really get into anything that was super controversial, but you always knew where she stood without ever having to get into the muck or the weeds. She was always very clear that she believed in love and equality, and she was so clear in all these things and somehow never had to get in the mud and roll around with any of it. How do you think she struck that balance as a journalist? You see people kind of swing ways all the time, especially here at your career. And so what do you think created that equilibrium for her?
She was really grounded in faith,
Mhm.
and she talks about that all the time, has talked about it all the time. So I think that makes a big difference. She truly lived her faith. And she came from a big family that didn't have anything. And so it's hard to get caught up in the things that don't, in the long run, mean a lot when you come from a place that is grounded and simple. And I mean that in the nicest way, like truly without distraction. And hard times for sure. I mean, she had a lot of hard times in her life, but I think that does give you a better appreciation for the world around you and the things that really are important. And she lived that out every day, it seemed.
Yeah, her life, you say simple, but like you said, she was so proud of that and so
Yeah.
proud of her father and her parents and why she started the Imagination Library. Because even though her dad did not learn to read, traditionally and did not go to school, she wanted everyone to be able to experience stories. So the fact that she created that, like you said, yes, they're business decisions, but business can also make incredibly beautiful impact. And I think she showed that. But in Dollywood, did you see it where they actually rebuilt her? Her home.
When you
Yeah.
walk in there and you realize that that tiny little place is where that whole family grew up, it
Mhm.
changed my perspective so much. I mean, we complain, right? And I know a lot of people from Charlotte go up to Pigeon Forge, they go to Dollywood. So many people watching this have seen that little replica of her home. But if you haven't seen it, you would be shocked how an entire family could live in such a tiny space. But they did
Yeah,
it.
it's half the size of the studio, and it really does, like you said, we all tend to complain, and when I do want to complain, I think about a story that Julia Roberts told about Dolly on the Steel Magnolia set. They're all sitting out there and they've got these like wool tweed things on for whatever scene they're doing, and they're like, it's hot. And everyone's complaining that it's hot, it's hot. And Dolly's just sitting there hanging out. And Julia's like, Dolly, it's hot. You can say it's hot. And she's like, Dolly just responded with, listen, all I ever wanted to do was be rich and famous and in the lights and in the movie. So I'm not going to complain while I'm here. And Julia was like, well, shit. Like, I just, what do you say to that? Like, and she said, I didn't say anything the rest of the
Yeah.
shoot because Dolly wasn't complaining. I'm not going to complain either.
Mm-mm. And I think about, whatever you believe happens to you after you go. I grew up in the Dolly Parton, Kenny Rogers era, and Islands in the Stream was like one of my favorite songs. And I just have this cool vision of the concert that's happening up there now and the many musicians that have gone before her and the beautiful country bluegrass, amazing pop music, gospel that is happening with that amazing group of people.
Dolly and Elvis, what a combo.
Right? I know.
This makes me so happy, and I'm so glad I got to talk to you. One thing that Heidi brought up is that she was also just unmatched, and like if she was doing a skill in a movie, she was full in it. Like
Mm.
there was nothing Dolly ever did that was half-assed. She just
Hmm.
everything was always full send. Okay, I
Oh,
made it through the whole time without crying, and that was here at the end because they're also playing this interview in the background.
oh, I know. It's really hard. My sister loves Dolly as well. Like my sister lives not too far from Pigeon Forge and has loved Dolly forever. And it's a really hard day for a lot of people because she represented something, she represented something really special. That doesn't end with her not here. Her legacy and her spirit are so strong. But yeah, it's a sad day for a lot of folks.
It's a sad day, but can we end with a happy story? Do you have any other Dolly story you want to share with us before we go?
I mean, I really wanted to see her clothes. Asked her about her clothes closet. And this was before they opened. They had some clothes on display at Dollywood, but I think they've relatively recently opened a larger museum that has more of like her clothes and things like that. So, but I was fascinated. I had to hear about where she keeps her clothes and what her closet is like. And she told me she has a warehouse. She had a warehouse that was like stocked full of all of the things that she couldn't fit in her house. And so that was like between the clothes and the shoes. I was really kind of fascinated by that. Her feet were much tinier than mine, so I couldn't borrow.
Oh, that makes me so happy. Like you said, larger than life and so comfortable with, like she said, like she was asked in that one interview, it's like, you don't have to dress like this, you don't have to look like this, but it was her, and she always said like, no, I leave the house and I'm going to look like Dolly. People expect Dolly, I'm going to give him Dolly,
Yep, and we got her.
and we got her. Okay, well, I'm so glad that we got to connect on this. I know it was a sad moment to jump on and talk together, but I couldn't think of anyone else to have this amazing conversation with about our queen, Dolly.
Thank you, my love. Good to see you.
Love
We'll be
you.
thinking of Dolly. We'll sing some Dolly songs tonight.
Yes. Here you come again. What was your favorite Dolly song? You got to tell me before we go.
There's Islands in the Stream for sure.
Ballads in the Stream. Okay.
Mhm. Yeah,
Okay. I love that. Thank you, friend. I love you.
you got it.